Welcome to the Collector's Cast, everybody. Hey, we're back. Mike, how you doing? How was your holiday?
Awesome. Great holiday season. Great Christmas. Great New Year's.
Did you stay up till the ball dropped? Did you stay up to midnight?
Yes, but also still a little bit of a continuance of Christmas for me because Ukrainian Christmas is January 7th.
Oh, yes.
So
Ukraine.
Us Ukrainians have to celebrate a little bit later.
And right now we're supporting not the Ukraine. We're supporting Ukraine. A lot of people say the Ukraine for some reason. We all did at one time. But anyway, we support those people.
No, but a great super holiday.
Did you get any new collectibles for, no, you like going out and finding them on your own like me.
Yeah.
That's what everybody asks my kids and that ask me, what do you want for Christmas? I never know what to tell them because I like to go out and find my own stuff, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm a difficult person probably to buy for, but my daughter Reese did come through with some really awesome gifts and this great massaging gadget.
Oh,
that
really?
Is just like the cat's meow, yeah.
Oh, nice. So you'd be hard-pressed to get you out of the house now.
Yeah, and it's got a heater on it, too.
So speaking of your daughter, it's our big theme today. I know we normally centralize on collecting one specific thing, but what we're doing today is we're doing a bit of a bring your daughter to work day, if you will. And we've each brought a daughter today, and we're going to interview them separately. And because we find that doing this show, everybody collects something. And, we kind of went on a limb here with the two collecting subjects we're going to talk about today because they were both things that I really didn't think of ever collecting myself. But it just goes to show you, just because it's not what you collect doesn't mean it's not collectible or desirable.
Yeah, and moving back to our theme that we talk about a lot of the time is almost everybody collects something. Even the other day, a contractor came to check out putting up a new fence.
Oh, yeah, the dog fence guy.
The dog fence. And he said, wow, what neat stuff. And I said, do you collect anything? And he goes, oh, actually, I like to collect old tools. And I said, see, everyone's a collector.
Hey, and there's a segue. I didn't know you were going to say that, but coming up in the next Clint the Collector auction, January 30th, which should be out sometime after this episode airs. I believe it'll still be to come. We've got some interesting tools in that one, some interesting vintage tools. Definitely some blacksmith tools, some really weird, wacky stuff that I've never seen before. And I just talked to our old pal Henry Kickert Sr. today, and he wants to consign some old hand planes and things. So it may be a tool extravaganza for vintage tools at the next auction.
Maybe we'll get Jesus bidding on a few.
Jesus the carpenter.
Tools. Yes, he was a carpenter.
This is true. Okay. Well, I think without further ado, we're going to take just a fade away to a little break here. And when we come back, we're going to have one of our daughters here. And I think it'll be your daughter will be first.
Yes, Reese.
Okay. We're coming right back with the Collector's Cast. I'm Clint. He's Mike. Wait right there.
See you in a minute.
And we're back. Hey, welcome back to the Collector's Cast. We've got our first guest on today. It's Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, bring your kid to work, and it's Mike Bloski's daughter, Reese. Hello, Reese.
Hi, Clint. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, thanks. So anyway, what you've brought here today is something I wouldn't normally think about collecting, and these are African jewelry, right?
Not quite, Clint.
No. They're horse bits, aren't they?
You got it.
Okay, now this is a piece that goes in the horse's mouth.
Yes.
And then the loops are for the reins to attach to?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of.
So when you pull the reins, they feel it in their mouth and they know to turn this way or that. Is that the way it goes?
Essentially, in some of the more basic models of bits, but in a lot of the other models, it's not quite that simple.
I've learned that there's a bit for every occasion.
Really?
And there's certain bits that Reese sees and says, oh my gosh, I can't believe they would even put that in a horse's mouth, because they're kind of cruel sometimes.
Well, none of these look really comfortable to me. Like, I don't want to try any of them personally. But now people don't wear these, though, do they, normally?
No.
Okay, good. Well.
So just tell us, Reese. Okay, so Clint and I know that you're a high-level equestrian, and you and your horse jump and fox hunt and do all kinds of crazy, dangerous stuff like that. So what got you interested in keeping all these bits aside from just like, don't you have just enough with your horse already? But what's your interest in them? Like, is it just a curiosity or?
I really love to know why we as people do things, and especially what inspired me to get more knowledge about bits and start collecting them is my current horse, Zoe. She has been a very difficult horse to figure out what works best for her, and just kind of naturally I started learning more about bits, and the more I learned, the more I started to wonder why. Well, why does this work this way? Why does this work this way? Why are some bits more common in some disciplines and other bits less common?
Yeah, because you would think, people would think, well, you stick a bit in a horse's mouth and sort of it works for all. Now, there's some really interesting bits here. And I want you to talk about. I'm going to pick this bit
Is that the
up.
racing bit you were talking about?
Yes.
Because this is just crazy. And with that, I'm going to say, I'm around Reese and her horse every day. But when I see this bit, I'm just like, okay, what does this do? Tell us about this.
Alrighty, if you'd like to hand it to me. This is called a Dexter racing bit.
A Dexter racing bit, okay.
Yes, it is a 2-part compound bit. It has the cheffrey, or cheffrey, however you should like to pronounce that, and the snaffle bit.
Okay.
And it kind of goes in the horse's mouth. It's a little bit old, so it doesn't work as it should, but it goes in the horse's mouth like this, where the top part of the ring is in the horse's mouth and the bottom part is around the bottom jaw.
So the upper would be up in their gum, kind of under their lip?
No, it would be both kind of
Right
on
in
their
their-
tongue, right up, kind of sitting on the tongue and in the palate.
Oh, so it kind of goes on like flat in on an
Yes.
angle. Okay, I see.
And so these are typically used in racehorses, and they are used for the stronger racehorses who like to pull. These are used for a little more turning and stopping power. Now, whether you believe that bits give control, that's up to you. Personally, I do not. I believe it's all in the training of the horse. And bits can be a tool, whether that be a harsh tool or a less harsh
Well, like
tool.
anything, like any tool in the world, you have to know how to use it, too.
Exactly.
If you go swinging a hammer by the head and hitting things with a handle, you're not going to get anywhere. So that
Where did you find that bit?
yeah.
I found
That's-
this at a consignment store, which is just a thrift shop for horse stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
I did a lot of digging
There's
to
a
find this.
consignment thrift store for horse stuff only, for tack and
Yes,
whatnot.
there's many of them.
Oh, I see. You learn all these things as you delve down these rabbit holes of collecting, and I didn't know there was a such thing as consignment stores for horse stuff.
All right, now here, I'm curious about this other bit here.
That one, to me, if I had to wear one, that one looks a
Now,
little more comfortable because
look
of
at
the
this.
twisted. What is that twisted stuff
Now,
in the
wouldn't
middle?
this be uncomfortable in a horse's mouth, though?
Yes, this is one of the bits that I will right off the bat deem as a bad bit. It is a D-ring or egg butt mouthpiece, and it's got the double twisted wire, which is thin and wiry in the horse's mouth. And as you see, as I move and maneuver this around, it goes like this, and it's very pinchy.
Ew.
And could not be comfortable in the horse's mouth. And in the horse's palate, they have, much like our mouths, they have gums, which are called bars. They have their palate, and then they have their tongue. So a mouth of a horse is kind of shaped a little bit like a U, like a
Okay.
U with little wings on the end. And so thinking of that, when this is sitting in the horse's mouth, it's going like this, and it's pinching and it's moving, and this is.
Yeah, because those
Yeah.
openings are open like a spring. If you stick your
Yes.
finger in a spring and bend it, then it can get pinched in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that's actually, to me, it looked like probably the more comfortable than biting on a solid piece. But you say that one is actually pinchy and bugs the horse
Yes,
more.
this
So
is-
you wouldn't use that on your horse.
I'd never even think of putting this in any horse's mouth, personally.
Wow. Yet they exist and people still use them today.
These, I'd have to say, are one of the most popular bits to be used, and they are usually advertised as correctional bits.
Oh, so it's like if a horse misbehaves, they want to punish it with more.
Yes.
Wow, I don't like that. I don't
No.
agree with that style of animal training.
Very nice.
So my other question I just thought of is some of these, are these all vintage or are some of them newer? Or
Some of them are newer.
like this one close to me, the with the brass on it, that looks old.
Yes.
Is that from is that from a 1800s plow horse or what would that be?
I'm not entirely sure. But to me, from the research I've done on this bit and what I know about bits, is this looks like a bit that would be used in a Western discipline.
Okay.
And the mouthpieces are based off of a teardrop shank.
A teardrop shank.
Yeah. So this would be to offer pull pressure and pressure right on the corner of the mouth.
Well, I was right. That looked like 1800s, which would be your more Western style. So that would be like what Clint Eastwood would have on his horse, maybe. Boy, oh boy. So how many, do you have any idea how many different kinds of horse bits are out there?
Hundreds, if not thousands.
Wow.
How many do you have, Reese?
I have right around 45 to 50 bits. I have not done an official count in a while.
But you're not stopping anytime soon. You're still going to.
Is there a bit out there that you'd like to find? Like, is there something in your mind you say, oh, I'd like to just find one of those and have it?
Yes. And I've been searching for this bit for a very long time because I think it's a bit that would work well with my horse. It would be a D-ring snaffle with a copper lozenge in the middle.
With a copper lozenge, everybody.
All right, so if anyone has one of those out there.
A D-ring thingamajabber with a copper something. No, we got it on tape. We heard about it.
Okay. Now,
I just crazy. Like, I didn't know, pardon the pun, but one bit about horse bits. And now you sit down and I'm like learning all sorts of things. I had no idea.
I want you to explain this one. Because this seems to me something you might use in your horse.
Alrighty. Well, this would be one of your most basic bits that a lot of people would use. This is a egg butt snaffle with a French link in the middle. And I really like the thought of this bit. But in order for this bit to be executed properly in a way that I would feel comfortable using in my own horse's mouth, it would have to be a lot more rounded, and it would have to be made more anatomically to suit the horse's mouth. Because if you look at it this way and this way, you see that this French link right in the middle is built just straight up.
Yeah, like out of a piece of flat steel, yeah.
Yeah, so if you'd like to hold this bit like that. So when a horse would go to bite down on it like this or have it in their mouth, this would be digging into the soft tissue of the upper palate.
So it'd be better to have that made out of round as well.
Yeah, made out rounded and kind of angled a bit inward so it sits a lot more comfortably on the palate.
Wow.
You know,
Reese,
I think you...
Maybe you have a career in bit manufacturing.
I was just going to say that. Maybe you've got so much knowledge already and so much interest that maybe one day you'll develop the special Reese bit that only certain famous horses will use. Oh yeah, that was going to be my last question. Are there would it make a bit worth more if it came off a famous horse, like say a famous racehorse or something once, where you'd want something like that? I would imagine.
I would. I personally, as a bit collector, I would. But for the general equestrian population, they may not care, because I find that bits, which should be the most important part to be knowledgeable about because they're directly affecting the comfort of your horse, I find that often they're the least known about.
She's an animal lover too, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? You've just educated us beyond belief about horse bits, something that I had no idea there was so much to know about. I think she's been one of the best guests we've had all day.
Well, thanks, Reese.
Of course.
We've got one more coming soon. It's Bring Your Daughter to Day Work on the Collector's Cast. This has been Reese, and we'll be back with my daughter in just a bit. Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Welcome back to the Collector's Cast once again. Hey, we've got a double guest today. We got two guests. Well, it's not a double guest. It's two different guests makes one double. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. This is my daughter on Bring Your Daughter to Work today. It's Paige.
Hey,
here with her
welcome, Paige.
nail polish collection of all things.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. I can tell. Yeah. Now we had Mike's daughter Reese on with the horse bits, which I knew nothing about, and here's something again I know nothing about. But you have informed me now that people collect nail polish like crazy.
Yes, this is something that I started to do during COVID. I used to get my nails professionally done, and then when the nail salons closed and I couldn't do that, I started doing my own nails, and I fell into like a rabbit hole on YouTube and different forums and everything about what nail polish brands to go with, how to do nail art, all these different things. And it's just like an insane world. And at this point, I think I have about 400 bottles of nail polish.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's not just different colors we're talking about, but different types of nail polish, like different textures, different ways they lay down, the way they dry and harden and whatever they do.
Yeah. So you have, the classic nail polish that I feel like everyone grew up with, like their mom wearing and everything. Like, it dries it air dries and it's a creme. A creme means like there's nothing special in it. It's just like one solid color.
creme.
Creme, yeah.
Like
Creme polishes.
CREME?
Yeah,
Oh,
creme.
like creme brulee.
Or creme polish.
Okay.
But
Which I didn't know existed until just then.
in recent years, I would say probably throughout the 2000s, there have been so many different like, types of finishes for the nail polish. And now gel polish is a thing. So gel polish is really cool because it cures under a UV lamp. So you paint it on and then you put your hands under a UV lamp for like 60 seconds, sometimes 2-3 minutes, depending on how thick the coat is. And then it's completely dry, which is great if you don't have time. So you can just put it on, let it dry, and then go about your day, and you don't have to sit around for a few hours while your nails dry.
Yeah, because you're used to the old days. You see women walking around holding their nails out like they're waiting and waiting forever for them, or bits of toilet paper between their toes, trying to keep their toes apart.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is modern science has eliminated a lot of those issues.
Modern science has, in fact, eliminated a lot of those issues. However, I find like gel polish works really well if you just want to put nail polish on and then you work a lot with your hands, you're busy, you don't have time to continuously paint your nails.
Like Mike works with his hands a lot. What kind of nail polish do you typically?
I'm not using any at this point in time.
Okay.
I would recommend a gel polish if you did want to
right.
delve into that world.
So one thing is in my mind already. So you must, if you go into a store, you must just, do you immediately gravitate to the nail polish and say, well, I don't have this. I might not use it, but I better get it because it's unique or different. Because let's say 400 bottles of nail polish, like that's a lot of nail polishing for one woman.
It is. See, I
Right?
do and I don't, because if I go into like a drugstore, yes, I will visit the nail polish selection. However, most of what I buy is online. If you're going with like drugstore brands, a lot of the times like the really fun finishes and the really interesting polishes, you're not actually going to find in a drugstore. You have to go
like specialty places? Or?
I mean, there's a lot of like independent nail polish brands that you can buy from online. What I have in front of me here, I brought 2 different brands of nail polish to keep it simple. I brought an indie brand and a drugstore brand. I would say that both of these brands are kind of revolutionary in their own way.
Revolutionary?
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
that's a pretty big claim to fame there. How so?
So LA Colors is a drugstore brand, which means it's affordable.
Okay.
These bottles, I believe, go for like $3 US online if you're buying from their website, if you can't find them specifically in a drugstore.
Gotcha.
Whereas Holo Taco is, I believe sometimes it's like $13 US for a bottle of nail polish. Depending on the finish, the price can change. But this is a $3 bottle of nail polish, $3 US, and it's a holographic polish. Holographic finishes are usually very expensive. So LA Colors is bringing the interesting finishes and the interesting types of nail polishes to people who maybe can't afford the really expensive stuff.
And then so the expensive stuff by comparison, why would people want to spend the more money? Is it just a prestige thing?
Well, as you can see here, I have some collection boxes with this.
Okay.
Holo Taco is a brand created by a really popular YouTuber.
Now, something we've just learned together here today when Paige was setting up her little display is that Holo Taco, I don't know why they use the word taco, but holo is not like an empty taco, it's holographic taco.
Yes. So actually the name itself comes from, it's created by a YouTuber. Her name is Simply Nailogical. That's what she goes by. I think her actual name is Christine. And in her videos where she's doing her nails, she would, like, you can have a holographic top coat. So you can take a creme polish and make it interesting by putting holographic flakes or a holographic finish on it. So in her videos, she would say, add a holo top coat, which slowly became add a holo taco, and that's how her
it was
brand
like a natural
was named.
progression
Yeah.
of a just saying something fast.
And for those who don't know, when we say holographic, we mean
Yeah, that's what I was
shifting, like basically The rainbow is shifting.
Like the little cards you used to get in the Cracker Jacks where you turn it and the animal moves a bit? Like that kind of holograph?
Yeah, like if I am moving this, see how it reflects all colors of the rainbow.
Okay.
There are other things that are like iridescent or like, color shifting that are different from this, but holographic means the entire rainbow is reflected in either the flakes or the finish or the polish. So if I were to be wearing this nail polish and I move my hands, especially under like a flashlight, you can see the rainbow, which is very fun.
See the rainbow. Nice.
And I see the collecting part because I'm looking at the back of this box and it says limited edition.
Yeah.
And isn't that as collectors, we'll see something limited edition right away, our ears perk up, right? We're like,
It's basically the bait that's used to catch us in traps.
I've spent far too much money to get these boxes. Like I could have just bought the nail polish and saved a little bit of money, but and I ended up buying, shades that maybe I wasn't completely interested in because I wanted the entire collection. I wanted it in the box.
Just so you know, you're preaching to the choir here. We're collectors, and we talk to collectors on this show, and we all spend stupid money on things that aren't necessary just so we can have it a certain way.
We buy a lot of useless stuff.
That's basically, this room is full of stuff that nobody needs, and so we were with you. Now, I wanted to, before we get so deep into the excitement of this nail polish thing that I'm feeling here, I'm wondering, the little brushes, does that have to do with, now you see a lot of people getting really artistic, fancy little pictures and things of skulls and different whatever. That's become a real thing, eh?
Yes. Nail art is really popular, and there's a lot of different ways that you can do nail art. So the little tools, I have a few different options. We'll start with so those tools, the little brushes. On one side, you have tiny brushes, and then on the other side, you have like little spheres. Because the brushes you can use to freehand nail art if you're really talented. I'm not so much. Like I will use those brushes, but very limited because I'm not very good, and I'm also.
So the spheres are more for like just making a dot, a nice dot.
Yeah, they're called dotting tools.
Oh, okay.
So you
draw
them,
a little snowman or anything with round figure.
You can create what is called a dotacure, which is a bunch of tiny little dots on your nails in some sort of like a design. And that's something that I enjoy. I really like doing the dotting because it's easy. It's hard to mess up. The other thing I have here are nail vinyls. So these are stickers that you basically put down on your nail.
And then you just trim the excess off?
You can do that. You can just wear the stickers and then put a top coat over it. You can also use the stickers to paint over and then take the nail vinyl off and in like the missing parts.
But do some people just like throw stickers on their fingers and go out for the day?
There are nail stickers as well. And there's also like press-on nails.
I was just going to say, what happened to the old Lee press-on nails back in the day? Did people still use those? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is it easier to paint them first and then put them on your finger?
Well, press-on nails, typically if you're wearing press-on nails, they've come like
painted
pre-painted. But you can definitely buy, just clear plain press-on nails that you do paint and then you put on. Well,
unfortunately, we don't have all day to talk about nail polish, which I know you'd love to, but I had one last question I was thinking of is do you have stencils? Do they make little stencils? Because wouldn't that be
that's
easy?
what a nail vinyl is. It's essentially a stencil.
Oh, so it's got holes?
Yeah. So if you kind of peel this up, see how there's like a bunch of like little kind of divots. If you peel it up, it creates a design. And
after the show and the cameras have stopped running, we're going to have our nails done by Paige. And then if it's embarrassing, we'll never take a picture and we'll never speak of it again.
So see?
Oh yeah, there's little shapes in there.
And then you paint over it.
And then when you peel it off, the shapes are there.
You have to put like a top coat down quick, like typically a quick dry top coat to do that first. Like your manicure has to be completely set before you can move on to the next step of nail art typically. That's why I don't do it that often. It's like painting cars.
It's like painting. You got to wait for the layer to dry, the coat to dry before you go to the next one.
It takes a really long time. Like if I am sitting down to do some sort of nail art, I'm usually committing to like 4 hours of sitting in one place doing my nails.
Well, you know what? I was sitting here as you were describing this stuff. I was thinking about it. If you have 400 different kinds of nail polish, you've got a total of 10 nails on your body, 5 on each hand and five on each foot. So that means that you could put a different color on every single nail, and 40 at a time. That's a lot of days.
Yeah, I mean, but
that you could wear and never repeat the same polish twice in like what is that, 5 days? Does that work out to? I don't know. Nobody knows
I
for
get
sure.
really
I was doing the math earlier and I had it all in my head. Now I lost it.
I get very particular though about like pairing colors together.
Oh.
So the colors have to look nice. They have to be in the same finish. Like I would never do a manicure, which is called a Skittles manicure, if you're doing like a different color on every nail.
A Skittles manicure.
Yeah.
See, there's terminology even. Are there like gangs roving around of nail polish gangs? And
I elect not to answer that question
okay.
for my own safety.
Standing by the water cooler, snapping their fingers?
I can't talk
Okay.
about it. I don't want someone to take a hit out on
Well,
me.
I don't know. Mike, do you have any other nail polish related questions? Or
Well,
have you,
just
is your head
400
just so full of
I
nail
just
polish
think
knowledge now?
400 bottles of nail polish and all that crazy interest. Like I say, people collect everything, and definitely
Everything. Just when you think something couldn't be collectible, it is.
Hey, and there's something I'm almost liking it to guys collecting Matchbox cars and Hot Wheels, and ladies collecting nail polish.
Because you got to have every style in every color. And
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I
Right?
get it.
You
That
got it.
makes
You
sense.
see one that you've never seen before, so you buy it.
Oh, that's really how it
Right?
is.
Yeah.
You just like, you see a color and it kind of like itches a spot in your brain and you're like, okay, I need that in my life. I need that on my hands.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. As always, we remember people to send, or we remind people to send queries to feedback@thecollectorscast.com. And I'm guessing we're going to get a couple of emails asking where the heck do we get a hold of this nail polish expert so we can start doing it too.
If I can say one thing, it's that nail polish does not need to be an expensive habit.
Oh, cool.
Although there is, really expensive stuff, you can still buy really nice nail polish at affordable prices. And when it comes to nail care, because that's also something I'm really passionate about, like making sure my nails are healthy, making sure they're prepped and ready to have manicures. Like I use nail oil every day.
So you just don't paint over the yellow stuff on your toenails?
What? Yeah. Hey, maybe you're speaking just for yourself here, Dad.
Don't everybody have yellow stuff on their toenails?
Hard no.
Well,
But no,
You
like
learn something new every day on the Collector's Cast. I thought everybody had yellow stuff on their toenails.
nail oil, nail polish, nail care pieces, like even nail art stuff. Like there is a little sponge. You can do like ombre nails. You can sponge it on and make really cool manicures. All of these things you can get at affordable prices. You can get stuff at the dollar store. So if you want to kind of start like dipping your toes or your toenails into this,
Collecting
hobby.
genre. Yeah, hobby, yeah.
start slow. Like you can start inexpensive.
It's
and
like
then
any
build
hobby.
your
We
way
talk
up.
about that. We talk about that with collecting. Any collecting. Start slow, start small, get educated,
Yeah.
learn your way around the hobby, and then once you become somewhat of an expert, you take off to the stars, and then other people start calling you and asking you questions.
I watched hours and hours of different videos and tutorials and everything. Like that's what I really spent most of my time doing before I even started to buy nail polish.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Something else we never knew. Paige spends a lot of time on the internet. Who would have thunk it?
I thought everyone knew that.
Sarcasm. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close up the show in just a minute, but I want to thank again our first guest was Reese, Mike's daughter, and now Paige, my daughter, on the Bring Your Kid to Work Day. We didn't get any of other kids because your guys' sisters and brothers don't really collect much, I don't think. Well, we're going to dig deeper. They probably do, and they just don't realize it.
And I will also say I do have an Instagram for my nails. So if you
what is it?
did want to follow at Nail Stuff by Paige,
Ooh.
sometimes I post there.
Paige.
Paige.
I do remember how to spell your name. It's one of the few things. Don't ask me your birthday.
Father of the Year.
Yes. Okay, we're going to be right back after this little break. This has been Paige Wilson. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Paige.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Collector's Cast, everybody. Well, that's it. We had our bringing daughters to work day, and I think it was a pretty successful thing.
Well, yeah, that was great. I know one thing for sure.
What's that?
We've just did an episode with collecting nail polish. So nail polish and horse bits. So we got nail polish and horses.
Yeah.
Guaranteed our female viewership and listenership just went up
No,
a large amount.
I know what I was getting at. Can you take the nail polish and put it, because horses' nails are their hooves, right? That's made out of the same stuff as nails, isn't it? So you could paint up a horse's hooves like nails, could you not?
Yeah, I suppose you could.
But nobody's doing it yet. Well,
Good luck.
If people start doing it, you know where they stole it from. Right here. This guy in the Rush t-shirt. Anyway, yeah, that was a good little learning experience for us. And since we just came out of the holidays, it was nice to involve family. And maybe one of these days we'll get our sons or our other daughters in here and do some more talking about what they collect. But so far it was really good to have them in. At this point of the show, we like to do our little trivia section. And I dug up a trivia question for you, Mike. Since your daughter is the horse bit gal and you are the horse guy, you're the horse dad that's always at the barn and everything.
The barn dad.
I did a little research on my phone during the break. And what would you say would be the earliest horse bit ever used, known to man? What century would that come from? What year? What would it be made of as well?
Well,
it's a two-part question. How old and what was it made of?
I'm thinking it's got to go back to the times of the Crusades.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I think you're in the right area. Do you know what century the Crusades were?
Well, I'm going to say 14 something.
Well, I'll tell you the answer is the 14th century, so that
Yeah.
puts us to the 1300s.
So 13
Early Mesopotamia was what I read. And what do you think those horse bits would have been made of? They were metal, I'll tell you that. So
Copper.
Close. Bronze.
Bronze.
Bronze horse bits. Early Mesopotamia in the 1300s or 14th century.
Yeah.
So we just learned something else about horse
'Cause
bits.
I just think of those in the days of the Crusades, those Knights Templar Knights.
Yeah.
Charging on horseback. They must have had some way of controlling those beasts.
Those big war horses, yeah. No kidding. So there you go. That's your trivia. And now, normally we take a listener question, but we're trying something new, aren't we? We got a new feature that we put a word out called Show Us Your Stuff. And we want to feature somebody's stuff every episode. And right now, by the magic of technology, oh, there it is up in the air. Look at that. It's the picture from Wes Rudy of Saskatchewan, your old buddy.
My buddy Wes Rudy.
Who collects a lot of things besides cars.
Yep.
But here we
And
got a picture of 3 vehicles.
3 vehicles. His Ford Hot Rod, which I believe is a 34.
Yeah, very cool.
And then his Mustang.
Which is around a 65 or so notchback
Looks
right
like-
in there.
Yep. And
very
then
cool looking.
his Chevy pickup truck
With the blower.
with a blower on it.
I know.
So,
67 to 72 style.
Yeah.
That is a very cool style
awesome.
of truck.
So this is a new thing we're trying out, and well, we're not trying it out. We're doing it.
We're going to do it. We're
This,
doing it.
So
So
send
every
us
episode, yeah, we're going to include somebody's stuff, and we're going to show it and shout out to them. So thank you, Wes Rudy, for sending us a picture of 3 awesome vehicles. We know your collections run deeper than just cars, and we'll probably get something else of yours up.
Oh, for sure. We're
on
going to
the
get your
Magic Street. But there it
motorcycles
is.
on there
They're
too.
floating up there right now. You can see them. There's those cars.
So show us your stuff.
Yeah, show us your stuff. Nice vehicles, Wes Rudy from Saskatchewan.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've seen his Ford Hot Rod in the flesh, and it's as nice as you'll ever see.
Well, my dad used to have a 71 or so GMC, so I've always been impartial to those trucks too. And then you throw a blower on it. How cool is that? So yeah, at the risk of boring everybody to tears, I think we've covered Bring Your Kids to Work Day. And hey, we want you to come back next week and join us again, and we'll have an all-new subject, an all-new topic. He's been Mike Bloski, the most interesting hockey player nobody ever heard of. I've been Clint the Collector. This has been the Collector's Cast. Talk to you soon, everybody.
Take care. See you soon.